The internet demands a blood sacrifice.
Just as a heads up before you listen to this interview, I unfortunately had problems with both the audio and the connection while we were doing this online, so I do apologize for any weird moments where it kind of seems like it cuts, or things go quiet. I apologize in advance. I tried to edit up as clean as I could though, and I feel like I managed to make a good final product. I hope you enjoy this interview with the Squdlit development team. Hello everybody and welcome to the first Gonzo Media interviews. With me I have the development team for Squidlit, and you guys are?
I'm Alex Barrett.
And I'm Samantha Barrett.
And I know this isn't about the game, but you guys just recently had, like, your wedding, correct?
Yes, we did.
We did indeed.
We got married in a cabin in the woods, and it was really nice. And it was a nice little small wedding, but getting there was a hassle.
Yes.
And
we drove up to the driveway for the place, and it looked like a cliff. So we just had roll forward and trust the driveway was there.
it was night, and so it was just pitch black fall.
We arrived at the cabin and just refused to leave.
Sounds like a successful wedding to me.
Yeah.
I mean, who wouldn't want wild midnight explorations to even see if you're at the right spot?
Yeah.
And we did not plan it to happen, 3 days before Squidlit's release? On the Switch, that's a coincidence, and we were like, well, this is gonna be stressful, and
we were driving back, we were like timing the wave of a release across from
Europe, from Australia
across the world.
Yeah. That was weird.
And so I'll eventually ask you guys about your Switch release of Squidlit. But the first question I'm going to ask you guys is, what made you interested in video games originally? Like, what made you fans of the medium?
Oh, man. Well, my first video game was on a Macintosh Classic in the early 90s, back when I lived in Tennessee. And it was a game called Dark Castle. And I have since learned that it is an absolutely terrible game.
Or it has a reputation.
It has a reputation as a terrible game. Yeah. But it was my first video game.
And the crows go like, meh.
Yeah. It has very interesting sound files and everything. And that was my first video game. But what really sealed the deal was the first time I played EverQuest in the year 2000.
I never really got a chance to play EverQuest. I was a little too young. I mean, I know it still kind of exists, like EverQuest 2 to this day, but I was too young when it first came out, and now I'm just too intimidated to even kind of touch it with like a 10-foot pole.
And I started my first video game console was, well, I guess my first video game was probably Freddy the Fish from Humongous Entertainment, the Kelp Forest one, and my first console was a Game Boy, the classic one, and later that was stolen, and I moved on to a Game Boy Color, and I mean I have the original again now, but I still kind of keep my Game Boy Color around with me everywhere, and but all the games I would play on the Game Boy Color were Game Boy games. Like, they weren't Game Boy Color games. And in terms of actually wanting to make a game, I wanted to do something artistic. I've been going to school for aquarium science, and that was great and all, but I went to a high school at Savannah Arts Academy, and I was a violinist there, but I didn't write very much. I didn't create very much, and I wanted to do something along those lines.
That's actually similar to that. I actually went to school for a zoology degree, which I successfully ended up getting.
Yay!
So it's one of the reasons why my mascot for my channel is also like a squid person, is because I've spent a lot of time looking at cool aquatic animals too. It was never my focus. But cephalopods always have a soft spot just because they're incredibly intelligent animals.
Yeah. except for Nautiluses, they're not very smart.
No.
They can't all be winners.
They got the snail brain.
So what was your biggest motivation to create your own video game? Was like it a desire to just create something that you love type of thing, or were there other reasons more than that?
You want to take this first?
I think I'll take this first. I do like it is, you're right. It is, I just wanted to make something that like I loved and I could share with people and share with Sam. And like it wasn't originally going to even come out, but just every time while I was making it, I would show it to Sam, and it would, you know, frankly, to make her laugh and make her smile. And if she did, then whatever that was would stay in the game. And if it didn't get the reaction I wanted out of her, I would go and I'd change it until it made her happy. And
It's actually kind of funny that that's how you judge the quality of your work, because I do that to my fiance. It's
yeah.
like, I'll put jokes in my videos and everything I work on, and I'll play it for her, and then I'll just, instead of watching the video, I'll just stare at her face the whole time. And if there's straight face and it's no good, it's out. If it's like a slight chuckle, needs work. If it's a laughter, then I'm in.
Yeah. Isn't that a great way to do it?
It is. It's good to have a test audience whenever you create something like this, that you kind of put out and in a way expose yourself.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And at the time, Sam was both in college and writing a RPG, a tabletop RPG called the Siege of Zen. And she finished it, she published it, and we played through it, and it's really fun. And
There's a lot of quests in that game that were like put in, and then I forgot like who my party was consisted of, and they ended up having to be edited out because I was like, I can't put this in the game anymore.
And what was it called?
The Siege of Zen.
I might have to go looking for that later on just to like see what it is.
Yeah, as of right now, it is the only other Squidlit Inc. game.
Yeah. Let's see. I guess I should answer the question now.
Only if you want.
I forgot what it was.
Yeah. It was about like what made you want to make games, or
yeah, like your biggest motivation to create your own game.
Right. Yeah. Well, like growing up, I was often depressed a whole lot because of just being like growing up trans and everything. And so I ended up diving into video games a ton. Like I was that kid in high school and just school who like their primary thing to do after school was just play MMOs. And so I'd play like EverQuest and World of Warcraft and Final Fantasy 14 and just dive into it headlong just to forget everything. But my passion was to make those, find some company I could sign on with and make those. But after I graduated, I was with Alex, and while she was making Squdlit, I was filling out applications just to any game design company the world over. And I have filled out and submitted a little over 250 unique job applications with cover letters and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, they're all different too. It's not just copy paste.
And I've had 3 interviews, and one of them almost got a job, and that was in Sweden, and it ended up falling through at the last stop.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
And so after all that, I was like, well, I guess I just won't get a job. So I'm going to see if I can help Alex turn this into more of a even a bigger thing. So I started helping out with Squidlit. I started tackling stuff like figuring out the system to put it on Steam.
Yeah.
Like figuring out the SDK.
Sam's the only reason this got published.
Figuring out the SDK to upload a game into the actual like Steam system was an absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
I have no idea what language it's in, and I don't want to learn it because it was rough.
How did you figure it out then? Just like learning the few things you had to know to put it on and pretty much that? Or like what did you have to do to get the game out?
It was
Steam
hard
has
for
this-
us, at least.
They have this SDK that you upload into the system, the actual like build of the current game, and I'm sure if you have like an actual like software engineer on your team or something, then it's very easy to do.
Yeah.
But we were just like maybe if we put it together, we get like 3/4 of a whole programmer.
Yeah.
So at the time,
Yeah, especially at the time.
it was very difficult. It was about like a whole day's worth of angry coding trying to get it to work properly.
There wasn't any help online either.
No, there was no help online on how to set it up.
You think there would be some kind of how-to guide out there, considering how many things just get put on Steam these days?
Yeah, there's some like piecemeal forum posts on the like Steam developer section, but other than that, you just gotta figure it out yourself.
Just kind of a brute force it until you get it to work kind of thing?
Oh,
Yeah.
definitely, yeah.
Oh, speaking of brute forcing things, that's essentially how Squidlit's made.
Yes.
Would you like to elaborate on that a little bit?
It's like we just keep smacking that square until it gets through the circle hole.
Yeah.
But
Let's see. The code in most of Squdlit 1 is pretty jank, I would say.
yeah.
Yeah, especially that the Grimoire, the book boss. That's
man.
really jank. That's
Yeah.
held together with like shoelaces.
Grimoire is like what, 10 separate objects?
It's a 16.
16 separate objects, and all of them have to communicate with each other perfectly in order for him to like function.
Yeah.
And I honestly have no idea how it works. I just cross my fingers, and I'm very glad that he does.
Yeah. He was completely broken until the last week before we uploaded.
He's actually my favorite boss in the game, too. I'm like thinking back on it, I can see how he'd be incredibly difficult to get to work right.
Yeah. Especially for a novice.
Oh yeah. Like even like he's just looking at him today, it's like, man, how in the world did we do this?
Yeah, like each of the words, the definitions that you can ink on in there will stop that move from happening in the future. And so like if you don't like a certain move, you can ink on like, oh man, I really don't like those B's, and so you can ink on the B definition, and it gets rid of B's forever.
I actually don't know. Is he defeatable without inking on any of the words?
No, you have to ink on the words.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what I thought.
It's such a like cool idea for a boss where you pretty much have that control of, I don't like the B attack, so I'm gonna get rid of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was very impressed by that one. It was a very novel idea.
Da, 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 da. It was drawn with a mouse.
Yes.
And so is everything in Super Squidlit.
Yes. Except for 5 images.
Wait, really?
Yeah, the 5 recap scenes
Oh well,
we did.
You did them originally in pencil, but then like I pixeled over them with a mouse.
Oh yeah.
How long would you say it kind of took you guys to develop the original Squidlit?
Just ever so slightly over a year.
Yeah, originally the first Squidlit was pretty much predominantly made and programmed by only Alex. And I came in towards the end of development to really just help get it onto the Steam platform and then help with the marketing and production and that kind of stuff.
And like when I started, I had never coded. I had never drawn anything except for doodles. Never programmed, of course. I'd never written serious music. I just that's why it took so long.
Mm-hmm.
Just complete lack of experience.
I mean, the best way to learn how to do something is just to do it. So
yeah, just like dive right in. Like if
Yeah.
whoever's listening just takes anything from this interview, just dive in and just get your hands dirty with muck and just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah,
just do it.
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
Gotta get those memes in there.
Yeah.
How has the reception been for Squidlit? Like, after all the work you guys put into, would you like say it's been worth it?
People have been so nice.
They've been so kind.
Yeah, like everyone talks about and I'm sure if we were to get more popular, we would attract more people who weren't nice. But like, so far, the people who found us and have talked to us have just been like literally the nicest people on the face of this earth, and
just very, very kind people.
Yeah,
That's good.
Yeah, people liked it.
Yeah, they've liked it. They've said it's really cute, and we've gotten messages saying like, "Oh, thank you for making this game. It made my spouse's day," or "It was so cute. Thank you for everything." And it's just these wonderful little messages, and it's what's kept us going through the slog of making Super Squidlit, which is going to be much, much bigger.
If you guys want more praise, I can say when I was on Steam just like searching through random games, which I do every time, I seen Squidlit, and it was like the hypest thing I've seen in a long time, just because you don't really get throwbacks to the Game Boy like that.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
And I wanted to say that like your videos are super duper well edited.
Oh, definitely.
Oh my gosh, dang. And like they're also like really well researched and stuff, and you don't get YouTubers that great.
Yeah.
Like they don't come around too often. And so you should be very proud.
Oh, thank you. I am. Thank you. That means a lot to hear you guys say that. And just kind of like you, I didn't really know how to do any of that. I want to make videos, so I just learn through trial and error.
Yeah. Like we can really tell that you put the effort in.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty agonizing sometimes, especially when you're trying to get it keyframing things is the worst for a video.
Oh man.
I know what you mean, because on the original Squidlit trailer, I actually had to edit that, and I ended up editing it. And I edited it by clipping things together in a combination of videos and sound files, and I think it's Adobe After Effects, which is not a good thing to edit videos in.
Oh, some background on this. Like in Squidlit, on the Game Boy, there's only 4 sound channels, of course, and so they when certain sound effects in Squidlit play, it will turn off parts of the music, but we had the music that didn't go in certain areas like playing in those areas, and so Sam manually went through and edited out like instruments and edited them back in while certain sound effects played.
Yeah, wow! We cut all the music out of the game, and then just played the game silent with only sound effects, and just manually cut the sound so it would cut the music in the video trailer as we played it through, so it would function properly. It was such a pain.
It looked like a nightmare.
Oh man.
I actually almost had to do something similar with the Squidlit video I did, because when I was recording the gameplay, I actually set it up wrong, so I didn't record any of the audio. So I almost went back and tried to recreate all of like the sound effects as like accurately as I could.
Oh my goodness.
And it
Oh,
just
man.
sounded awful. So it's like I'm just gonna find the songs and just put them in as background music.
Yeah,
It worked out pretty well.
Worked out great.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'd say that's more of a credit to you guys for making really good music for your game.
Oh, thank you.
That's all Alex's department.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. And made it all on my little Game Boy.
Yeah.
And not on my Game Boy Color, on my original, on an original Game Boy that I have, because they sound ever so slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
And
Do they?
yeah, and some of the sound effects that we're carrying over to the next game, like just good ones like Plips Jump and stuff like that, we're gonna have to re-record.
Yeah.
What was it like porting, or maybe not port, but bringing Squidlit over to the Switch? What was that like?
Well, I don't like. There's like when you port over to when you bring a game onto the Nintendo Switch, part of the process is signing like this thick stack of non-disclosure agreements. So, but
Yeah.
what I know I can say is that there was a lot of very special like functions and things we had to put into the beginning of Squidlit, so it would call on the correct segments of the Switch operating system, essentially, to boot up correctly and essentially not cause the system to trip over itself. Because there was plenty of times where we did that with our dev kit.
I'd say the worst of it was adding analog control, which we also did for the Steam version or the PC version.
Yeah. The testers, you go into like a check system before they allow you.
Should we talk about this?
I think we can.
I think we can.
But the testers at Nintendo just like look over the game, make sure you didn't like not see any bugs or something before they put it into the system. They find
everything.
They find everything. Like we thought the speedrunners found everything. But there were things that they found that we had no idea was a problem. Like apparently, if you hold up and then press start on the like hold up on a joystick, analog stick, yeah, and then press start, the game would crash, and we had no idea. And we figured that's such a simple combination, someone would find it, but apparently only Nintendo did.
It was only on the analog control one, which I don't think had been released on PC at the time where they were testing.
I remember right. If I remember right, it was out for like a month.
Oh, okay.
And no one found it. I don't think.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
We didn't receive any complaints about it.
Oh, yeah, it might have happened and someone might not have mentioned it.
But they found a lot of bugs, and so it was a lot of bug fixing that we ended up doing.
Yeah.
It's that Nintendo magic for you, I suppose.
Yes, yeah. Definitely.
So hopefully, I'm assuming so there's no NDA on this question. How does it feel to have like a game that you made on a Nintendo system?
It's hit us yet.
No, it doesn't feel quite real yet.
Yeah.
Like it's just seeing Squid Squad like on a Nintendo Switch is just
Squid Squad is Sam's character.
Yeah. Squid Squad comes from a D&D or Pathfinder this little lizard person who was convinced that she was the emperor of gods, and so ran around trying to convince everyone of it.
And everyone thought she was so crazy that nobody told her. They just kind of ignored her, and so no one ever corrected her, and so it just got out of hand.
So I just got completely out of hand, and I eventually started like claiming it to like the face of actual like avatars of deities, and they would just like brush me off of like whatever, just go play in the puddle or something. And so I just kept pushing it as far as I could.
I thought it would make a great antagonist.
And so that's where Squid Squad came from.
She's got a lot more character development in Super Squidlit.
A ton more.
Yeah.
Seeing her on the Switch is insane. It's very crazy.
Yeah.
Seeing Squidlits.
Seeing little Squidlits.
Around on the Switch.
Yeah. Like we live and breathe Squidlits. Like it is not just a job.
You gotta live your brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've been living with it for like as long as we've known each other. Like Squidlit's our number one like topic of silly conversation.
Yeah.
And like I would make little clay squidlets for Sam at our local pottery store,
yeah.
and give all of them to her, and like
For like Valentine's Day
yeah,
gifts.
Valentine's Day, and just randomly,
Yeah.
just because she likes them.
That's really cute. Do you ever just have a Switch out and just like pull up your game on the shop and just show people that I made this and it's on the Switch?
I don't think we own it.
Like, yeah, we actually
don't.
don't own our
We
own
learned
game
that
on
the other
Switch.
day. We should buy it.
We should
give ourselves a code.
We could.
The thing is that we've played it to death, and like we've also
Yeah.
played it to death on on our dev Switch. So
Oh,
like
yeah.
we thought that we owned it on the Switch, but we learned like actually about 3 days ago that we didn't, because we played it on the Switch so much while testing it that we were just like, it's on our Switch. And,
Yeah.
like
It's like we have our dev Switch, and then we have our actual to play with Switch.
yeah.
And we've played
It's
it
only
so
on the
much.
dev Switch.
Yeah, it's only on the dev Switch because we put it on there.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, we could play it on there when we want to. It's
can,
right here.
yeah.
So I have a question about your marketing. Why did you market Squdlit for as low as the price you did? I would say it's worth more than the $2. Why did you decide to go that route with it?
Let's see. Well, it was originally $3 on Steam. I wanted to charge $2.50 for it, but Steam wouldn't let us.
Yeah, Steam has this weird pricing system where you just choose from a list of acceptable prices, and I think it's because how they
That's bizarre.
I think it's because of how they divide the cut up of how much they get and how much we get.
Yeah.
So the math is just easier.
That makes sense.
And so we put it on. We were like, we're gonna have it out there for 2 years, and it's probably never gonna get on the Switch because we'd actually been denied at that point from
Yeah.
Nintendo. We put it on for 1 year for $3, and then the second year we put it on for $2.
Yep.
And so it's like it averages out to $2.50.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it works out in the end. Got what you wanted.
when we got accepted on the Switch, we wanted to keep the price the same.
Yeah, we that first year we got invited to the Yogscast Jingle Jam.
Yeah.
Which helped, which I think was one of the main reasons why we were accepted onto the Switch the second time we asked for permission. That and another huge help with getting Squidlit out there, and
Jim Sterling
was definitely Jim Sterling. Jim
Yeah.
Sterling reviewed us the second day we were out.
Yeah.
And he just looked at the video, just looked at the game, did a short video, and it was very, very surprising. I didn't think we would garner that kind of attention.
We should have sent. We actually didn't send that video to Nintendo at first because it starts with profanity, and we were like,
But the second time they were like, accept us anyway. So
yeah, we might as well.
We used that video of oh, there's some profanity or whatever.
Yeah, we just put a little warning on it.
Yeah, and so we sent that to Nintendo, and we got accepted.
So now we're not. We don't know why they accepted us. Maybe it was just a different person. Maybe I have no idea. But
maybe if you swore the first time, they would have accepted you right away. Maybe they wanted that edge.
Oh yeah, maybe.
Also, for the price point, we're unknown. No one knows who we are, and especially no one knew who we are because we didn't. We weren't I was on social media at the time. And so, people were taking a risk in buying Squdlit, and we wanted to make that risk as small as possible because, frankly, wanted to get as many Squidlits out there as we could for our first game. We just wanted mass, as many people playing with Squidlits as possible.
That seems like it was a smart move for you guys to do, especially for your first game, as you said.
I hope so.
Are there any Easter eggs in the first game at all?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, there's Riverjack.
Yeah, some players might find Riverjack, who, at the very beginning of the game, the Squizzard tells you that
The Squizzard.
they've sent a Squidlit before you, and you can actually go and find that Squidlit.
Oh, that's cool.
And their name is Riverjack, and they're, A freaking little. Some people think he's Solid Snake, but he's not. He's actually Big Boss, and he's hiding up to the left of the giant tree
inside the castle.
inside the castle.
That's fun.
Yeah.
I think I might have encountered him during the game and just didn't realize that's who the Squizzard was talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I also just really love the name Squizzard.
Oh yes.
Yeah. There was a commenter on
Yeah, on the Jim Sterling video who said it should have been
Warlock Tupis.
Yeah.
And we were like, man, we gotta find some way to use that. That's a great name.
Yeah, is Warlock Tupis going to be a Super Squidlit character? There's only one real answer here.
They were at one point,
They were at one point,
but we replaced them with a giant mantis shrimp.
Yeah,
wizard.
We have. We were going to use a Warlock Tupis for a boss, but we ended up
Too many sprites.
Just way too many sprites.
Game Boy couldn't handle it.
Yeah, so we might do that in the third game, but that idea has been replaced by a mantis shrimp wizard
Named Sarogot.
Well, I will keep my eyes out for Warlock Tupis for later Squidlit games.
Oh yes.
Okay.
How is Super Squidlit going? Like, how's development for that?
We're
75% done.
I'd say we're about 75% done.
Yeah.
we're chugging along.
We're
really
chugging.
hard. Like we've been slinging bosses and throwing up cutscenes and
Yeah.
all
Eat,
kinds
sleep, breathe.
Yeah.
Super Squidlit, which is why we mention it so much because it's all we do.
of yeah.
So.
Yeah.
What improvements are in Super Squidlit that are new to it? And what are, like, enhancements to the old game that you're making but better for Super Squidlit?
Let's see. We added a game mechanic for Plip for her B button.
Yes.
It's a roll that you can use to stun things, knock them over.
Knock things off of bosses.
Yeah, go a little faster.
Yeah. Climb up walls.
And climb up walls. Like you can roll out a wall, bounce off it, and roll again. And you can climb walls that way.
We've added drop in, drop out multiplayer.
Yeah.
And that was
Closer, I think.
that was rather complicated to do. We spent
You spent.
I spent a long time trying to figure out like the aspect ratio because we wanted to keep the aspect ratio, but we wanted to make sure that both players had enough space. And so we ended up having to finagle it by like having the engine recalculate the aspect ratio every time the second player dropped in, dropped out.
Yeah.
But we have 2-player now.
Yeah.
We have a new game mode that we're very excited about.
Yeah.
That I think we'll talk about a little later.
Yeah.
And a lot of development for Squid Squad, who's alongside Plip for the whole journey.
What made you guys decide to include co-op for Super Squidlit?
We wanted to play together. That's about it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty good reason. It's like, do you even need another reason to have co-op in a game?
Yeah. Just so you can play with someone you care about.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like an estimated release for Super Squidlit, or are you not quite sure when yet?
We're expecting to be done with Super Squidlit by summer.
Yeah. The actual release window will depend on how long bug fixing after our submission to Nintendo will take.
And Steam as well.
And Steam as well.
Yeah.
Well, there'll definitely be a lot of bugs we have to iron out before we're ready to release.
Yeah,
So-
if there were like say like 15 bugs with Squidlit, like major bugs, and then like this is like 5 times as big, so
It's
it's
gonna
gonna
be
be
so many
5 times
more.
as much
Yeah.
as much bug stomping.
So like we're probably looking at like end of summer, probably like
Maybe
August if we're lucky.
Hopefully, yeah.
It's something for me to look forward to in the hot summer months of where I live.
Oh yeah, it's really hot down here too.
Yes, it's very hot where we are.
How would you like to expand on the Squidlit universe later on? Like, have you thought about that far, or are you more like, let's take it a step at a time?
We've got this really thick lore Bible.
Oh yeah. Like one of the things that became abundantly clear as we both dove into developing a full game alongside each other from like step one was that we needed to create a lore Bible to write down like everything that both of us knew about the world into a single location so we could both reference it.
Yeah.
And
highly recommend to anyone looking to do such a thing.
And like as soon as you add just one extra person on the team, you need a lore Bible.
Yeah.
And even before then, you probably need one anyway. But like we've established like what squidlets are, how old of a species they are.
At the end of Squidlit, there's this after the little the end logo, not logo, little the end blurb letter thing fades from the sky. There's this meteor that comes in and it goes like pew. That's actually the
final boss of Super Squidlit.
Yeah. Yes.
So like we're like Squid Squat was doing everything she was doing for a very specific reason, and the crystal ball was there for a reason.
Yeah.
Oh really?
And yeah, you can kind of, or I hope it's possible to kind of piece together little bits to what we were going to do. I hope that's possible for Super Squidlit.
I hope it's just not something that we can do because we wrote it.
Yeah. Oopsies. But yeah.
Always the fear of the creator is, I understand it, but why don't my fans get it?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
Do you have any other questions?
I have probably one last question I'll ask. It's kind of like a more open-ended. It's you can take it wherever you want, but is there anything you want Squidlit fans to know?
Oh man. There's a lot I want them to know, but there's also a whole lot I don't want to spoil. So we could you think we should?
I don't know. Might as well.
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna have to do it for the trailer for the submission anyway.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So after deliberation, we've decided.
Important deliberation of the council.
Yes.
So you do get to play a Squid Squat and Super Squidlit.
Oh,
yes.
cool.
What was it?
We
like
changed the mechanics.
A year or two ago.
I put as a April Fool's Day joke a year or two ago that Super Squidlit was going to be a first-person shooter that where you get to play a Squid Squat, and that actually wasn't a joke.
We actually weren't joking, and Alex has created a old-fashioned raycasting system to create a first-person shooter in Game Maker, and we're using that to let the player play as Squid Squat with a full
only while you play a Squid Squat.
Yeah, only while you play a Squid Squat. So it'll flip-flop between platforming and first-person shooter. And
that's awesome. That's like really cool.
we got a whole RPG system for you to level up Squid Squat as you take her through her adventures, which she's doing to help Plip and defeat this evil that has come upon Squishu.
Yes.
Well, I have to say that makes me personally really excited. I mean, I was already excited for Super Squidlit, but it makes me even more excited for Super Squidlit.
Oh, hooray.
So there's no as a disclaimer, there's no textures on the walls because it's a Game Boy.
Yeah.
So it's more along the lines of a Faceball 2000 with a slightly higher frame rate than that.
Yeah, it has about the same graphics fidelity of Faceball 2000 for that segment.
Yeah.
It's what makes it even cooler. You gotta work with the limitations offered to you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's also Tyrannosaurus Tex on the Game Boy Color,
Yeah.
but that was like what 4 megabytes, something ridiculous like
Yeah,
that.
it's
So
really huge.
yeah. So whatever they were doing to get textures on the walls and that, it's not something we could have pulled off, and had a platformer game in there too.
Yeah. Yeah.
I actually have one more question that somehow slipped by me as I'm looking through the list I made of questions to ask.
Sure.
But is there any non-Squidlit games that you plan on maybe doing at some point?
So we do have an idea for another game that would be based off of the Siege of Zen tabletop role-playing game.
I don't know if we're gonna go with exactly the way Siege of Zen is, because we wrote
right for that, and we would be tying that into Squid Squat's origin story.
Yeah.
Of like where she comes from and how she came to Squish You.
Sounds like it'd be a really cool thing if you ever like fully go through with that and create it.
Yeah, we're gonna need to be like we're gonna either need to be like way more skilled or like be a bigger company at
or
that.
Like be able to hire someone to help us.
Yeah.
It's good to have like those types of goals later on. Then it's like obviously plan for the task at hand, but it's also good to have some type of foresight on how you want to do things.
Yeah.
But the lore for it is written.
Oh yeah.
It's a step in the right direction.
Yeah.
Thanks very much for being willing to take part in this interview with me. The first of hopefully many.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
you're
it
very
was
welcome.
very fun.
And is there any last minute things you'd like to say before we end this like interview? I forgot what an interview was. I'm sorry.
It's fine. If y'all are interested, you can follow us at Super Squidlit on Twitter, and that's where we will be posting fun little screenshots, GIFs, and videos, along with news of Super Squidlit when we have more to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like all of the Squidlits love you.
Oh yes.
Yes.
All of the Squidlits
Whoever's
love
listening.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who's ever listening. And also, if you have not picked up Squidlit yet, you should definitely do so right after listening to this. It's definitely worth, again, as I said in my Squidlit video, it's worth less and has more value than the cup of coffee you would use that money to buy anyway.
Hooray.
The internet system is out to embarrass us all.
Yes, yes.
Yes.